Hello guys, it is Chris back here again with another episode of Magic the Gathering. In particular, we are playing Brawl today, and we are playing a Vega deck in Historic Brawl. Luckily for me, the event was still up this morning, so I got in one more round of Historic Brawl, the best type of Brawl there is. And I built a little Vega deck just to see if some of the other cards that you get with the Historic card pool that you cast from places other than your hand make the deck a little more competitive or a little more viable. So we have Foretell cards, we have some flashback cards. Initially I was going to put in Eternalize and Bomb cards, but they don't actually work. And then you have things like Impulse Draw with red that you don't actually get with Vega either, that you would be casting from outside of your hand. So we really just get the flashback cards and a couple of other odd things that you can cast from the graveyard. You can do some shenanigans like there's a Surveil spell, it's 2 blue, and you cast it and it targets the card in the graveyard, and that card essentially gains flashback. So there are little tricks like that. A couple of other interesting things. I think there's a Sphinx that also does something similar, but I don't know if it's actually in the deck. Our opponent's going to take a look at our hand here with Velky. The only thing to grab is actually our Azor, which we kind of want, to be honest. He's not the best creature in our deck, but he is more or less a finisher, because he can come down, stay down for a turn, and then he can just draw us a new hand with his Sphinx's Rev ability. So he's more than worth trying to retrieve with some of these Wrath that we have in hand. We actually have a pretty good set of game plans going on here. We have a counterspell. I think we actually counter Ill-Gotten Inheritance. One of the ways we could lose this game is by our opponent sticking an artifact or enchantment that just passively hurts us, because we want to play the long game, and if our opponent gets down some piece of inevitability, we won't have our long game. So we get our Azor back with a time wipe. Our opponent, thinking over their options here, they decide that Velky is best off in the command zone, not staying in the grave. They're black, so they might have been able to reanimate him. Inquisition of Kozilek comes down, does not find anything 3 or less in our hand. We are quite greedy up the curve at this point. Velky comes back. He's going to grab Azor again. I don't like wasting a lot of Wrath on Velky himself, but Azor is probably our best win condition at the moment, and it doesn't seem like they have a lot of other creatures going on. I think they're also on some kind of control package plan. It's not a thing that they don't have creatures. I bet they have more. Yeah, there comes a Rankle. We're going to memory lapse that. One of the just mind-blowing things that I learned from brewing this deck was actually that some of the Mystic Archives that are banned in Historic are legal in Historic Brawl. Hence the counterspell in my hand. That was I really don't know what to say about that. I don't know, I think if you shouldn't be allowed to play counterspell in Historic, it probably shouldn't be a thing in Brawl either. But coding is hard, I guess, and they may have never intended us to play Historic Brawl, so they just didn't think it'd be an option. There's another piece of inevitability. Raven's Warning. Counterspell may not actually be that bad in Historic Brawl. I mean, not actually be that good in Historic Brawl, because you only get one copy of it, I guess. So I guess it's a little limited in that regard. It's probably safer than I give it credit for, but like when you have a lot of experience with older Magic. So I started playing around Innistrad, back when I was watching a lot of Magic content online. You know, Counterspell was ubiquitous with like older formats where the power level was a lot higher. I mean, 2-mana counterspells, there are better 2-mana counterspells, but that is not the case in Historic. I mean, I guess you could make the case. Reasoning. So, we actually get in a second attack with Azor. Did not expect that to happen, but it did seem to happen, so we're pretty happy that happened. I'm gonna leave up some mana here. Don't particularly know why we're leaving up the mana. Probably should have just went for something like Search for his Kanta, but yeah, what can you do? Everything's a mistake in retrospect. Our opponent is thinking over their options. They have the Rankle again in hand. So I guess, yep, that looks like what they're going to do. Rankle will come down. He'll use at least the sack ability of his. He might do something else. See, drawing would be helpful for them, but it would also help us. I guess they're gonna go for it, yeah. We do a momentary blink, that's pretty decent. They are behind on card advantage, so I can't really blame them. Oh, there goes Stonefangs. Stonefangs gives them a bit more inevitability than we have at the moment. Like, we are ahead as far as card advantage is concerned. We do have better overall prospects for the long game, but if they can just drain us out before we kill them, they'll have won the game. So we gotta kill Rankle here. Killing Rankle ensures that we don't end up having our hand eaten away, and that we don't end up losing more life to Rankle's card draw ability. I don't know if it's conceivably Rankle could have drawn us into something that could answer the board state, but between the two of us, we're happy with the amount of cards we have in hand. Velki comes down again. Well, Velki gets countered again. Not again, he didn't get countered before, but he does this time. Hard counterspell in Historic. Still blows my mind. We're going to use our Foretold card. Based on our count, we can get 3 Angels. Pretty decent stats. 12 in the air should help us finish out the game pretty quickly. Oh, our opponent had Legion's End. That is nearly the perfect answer for our situation. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that would be better. I mean, you could technically bounce ball and it'd be about the same, but for 2 mana, 3 Angels die? Ugh, that hurts. So we're just going to float our mana here real quick. We're going to go with Nico here. Nico Aris. Nico for 6. The -1 can kill the bird. Then we'll have 6 shards on the battlefield that we can use to draw when we start running low on things. We're already running low on actual threats. Like, we have some protection in hand, we have a board wipe, and we have a card advantage, and then we have a setup piece, but we don't really have inevitability. They got back the Murderous Rider so that they can swift end Nico. But at this point, Nico had already done their job. Our life total is slowly going down, so we will need to solve this problem before things get any worse. we do land. Get down our search for Escanta. Play a Vega. Vega is a decent card advantage engine. It just hasn't really shown us much in this game in particular because not really a lot of options for it. We've just mainly been dealing with the board all game. Opponent's done a pretty decent job of pressuring us, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Also, something really odd about our opponent's deck. We're going to use a momentary blink to blank the Murderous Rider attack, but it looks like we're going to be taking it instead. Opponent is thinking over their options. Might have a kill spell in hand. They might be thinking about their Lock Wane, but I think it's already been used. We got a Silent Departure. That's pretty good. We Silent Departure our own Vega. Sadly, Vega will do nothing again because we want a Wrath of God. And look at that, we constructed our own Time Wipe. And then Vega comes back down. And then we have enough left over to crack a shard, which is basically a clue with some scrying attached to it. Drew Teferi here of Dominaria. He's a very good planeswalker to draw when your opponent doesn't have a board anymore. That'll help us get rid of Stonefangs, which is slowly killing us, so we do need it to disappear rather quickly. Our opponent's recursive theme is pretty decent. Why I mentioned that their deck is a little bit odd is that their commander's color is technically Rakdos, but it looks like they're playing full black. Either that or they've just gone really, really far without drawing a red card, which would be insane. But I guess it's possible. So we tuck their Stonefangs, and we draw a card. Right now we're looking to draw into either... what are we looking to draw into? We're looking to draw into another counterspell. That would help secure the game for us. Or we're looking to draw Cleansing Nova, so that we can just let them play their enchantments and then just destroy the enchantments. Don't know why they didn't play anything there. I guess they might have been going for the Lock Wane. Might have been worried we had counters in hand, which we didn't at the time, but we do now. So we're going to foretell our Glorious Protector, play an Omen Clock, pass the turn. Push comes to shove, they don't do anything, we can just crack a bunch of shards on the end of their turn. That'll be good enough for us. They Lock Wane. Look like they're in a similar realm of understanding as us at the moment. We let it pass over to them. They attempt to play the Stonefangs again, and we disallow it. Luckily for us, we do one of our outs to Stonefangs, and that does it for our opponent. They have decided that the game is over.